Help me reach 9,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. Our anniversary dinner started with her phone face up on the table, brightness turned way up like a stage light. She kept glancing down, screen lighting her cheekbones, fork chasing a salad she didn't touch. I asked if she wanted dessert. She smiled at the phone. Busy night. I asked. Clients, she said, tapping. Two bridal brunches collided. Drama. I told her I'd booked the weekend off, stacked my courses earlier in the week, picked up a camp reservation by the river. No cell service, just us, I added. Tent, coffee on a tiny stove, dumb jokes. She laughed, loud, deliberate. Heads turned. You're kidding. A tent? We could do a wine tour with helicopters. Why would I trade that for smoke and bug spray? If I'd understood where it was headed, I'd have skipped dessert and called the bill the minute she laughed. Our server poured water. Claire clicked her nails on the glass. You know Melissa's guy just closed on a place in the hills, she said. Maybe we double date. They have a private chef. It's inspiring. Good for them. She looked at my hands. You still smelled like diesel when you sat down. That's an ambulance, I said. Not a tractor. And the truck, she added louder. It rumbles the whole street. You know they make cars that don't do that. Somebody's got to pull the boat out when a kid falls in, I said. I set down my napkin. Camping's still on the table. Or we try acting like adults, she shot back. Wine tour. Helicopters. Dress like people who respect themselves. The couple at the next table went very quiet. I waited for the check. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't lecture. I just watched the way she smiled at the server like nothing was off. I made a note. Cool, distant, eyes on optics. First time I wrote it down in my head and underlined it. On the curb, she slid into her coat. You're not mad, right? I need aspirational content this month. Clients look at lifestyle. Which clients? Future ones. She tucked hair behind her ear and leaned toward my phone. I'll send you a list. Don't, I said. I'm clear on what I do tomorrow. She huffed. Fine. Back home, she had 3 candles burning and a mood playlist humming in the kitchen, like we were still celebrating. I washed the smell of diesel off, texted my night crew about a shift trade, and threw a dry bag by the door. Stop packing, she said from the hall. I have a boat tasting Saturday. Boat tasting. A yacht open house. It's content. She flashed a smile I'd seen her sell to brides worried about napkin shades. Just be flexible, okay? Got it, I said. I'm flexible. She took that to mean I'd fold. The next afternoon, I stopped by her studio with coffee. She was in a consult. 8 women spread around a table, vases and sample menus everywhere, a wall of color swatches behind them. I held the door and waited. Claire saw me, looked at the cups, looked back to the table, and didn't wave me in. Ladies, she said, bright as a ring light. This is the life I've chosen. Excellence. High standards. Not camp stoves. Snickers ripple. She tilted her head at me without turning. We're busy, Ryan. I set the coffee down anyway and left it. In the hallway, the florist, Hannah, stuck her head out. She worked 1,000 weekends with Claire and knew exactly how sharp she could be. She's in a mood, Hannah murmured. You okay? I'm good, I said. I don't do moods. I do outcomes. Hannah smiled like she might believe me and backed in, door clicking shut. I drove to the river. I slept fine. By Sunday, Claire texted a photo of champagne flutes under a helicopter blade. She added a caption, real weekends. No heart emoji. No question mark. I answered with a picture of a trout in the pan and didn't add anything. Monday morning, I made a change. I woke at 5, brewed black coffee, and typed a schedule. The emergency shifts I kept. The training days I moved. The home calendar that used to be ours became mine. Clean blocks, contracts, invoices, ranges. I added a line at the top. Personal, respect policy, and I meant it. Then I booked a storage unit and moved half of what was mine, gear, tools, extra uniforms, out of our place. Not sneaking, just logistics. When she rolled in, heels clicking tile, she stopped at the door. Why is the hallway empty? I'm simplifying, I told her. My things are where I use them. You moved out. I moved my equipment. No need to crowd your vision boards. She set her bag down a little too hard. We have events next month, she said. Galas. Neutral palette. You need a suit that fits the venue. I have the one that fits me. She stared. You're being difficult for no reason. No, I said. I'm being clear for a very good reason. She folded her arms. We have a brand to present. Then present yours, I said. I'll present mine. Meaning? Meaning my weekends are mine, I said. No more last-minute swaps unless it's medical. Training comes first. We stop doing your social sprints like I'm a prop. If you need a +1 for effect, use a tripod. Wow, she said, blinking. A lecture. It's a rule, I answered. Rules beat moods. That night, she slid into bed with a quiet voice and an apology. I overreacted, she murmured, palm flat on my chest. I'm under pressure. Brides are cutthroat this season. I get pressure, I said. I'll make it up to you, she added. Dinner at that new place on Friday? Just us? I'll put my phone away. Sure, I said, and I meant it as a test, not a reward. Friday came, and she wore a dress that matched the restaurant's lighting. She kept her promise for almost 20 minutes. Then Melissa showed up with 7 friends, and 2 of them air-kissed Claire like they were on camera. They'd booked a long table. Claire told them we'd join. I thought we were doing just us, I said. It's fine, she answered. Networking. They're all in events. It'll be fun. At the long table, she did her host smile. Introductions. Compliments on hair, shoes, imaginary lives. I ordered water because I was on call at sunrise. Melissa leaned over with a grin like she owned the air. So you're the medic, she chimed. Claire says you teach boy troops, too? Like little camps. First aid, I said. They're not little when they carry each other down a hill. Oh, cute, she said, turning away before I finished. Claire watched my face and didn't step in. 2 iPhones were already filming food. Someone asked about wine. Claire reached for the list like a reflex. We could do the reserve selection, she said. Something aspirational. Aspirational, Melissa echoed. They talked work. The talk shifted to houses, cars, places to be seen. I ate quietly. When I mentioned the county signing a contract for my training sessions, Claire tapped my knee under the table like a signal to stop. It's small-town stuff, she said to the group. He's modest. He doesn't brag. It's sweet. I looked at her. She smiled quickly, then looked away. Where do you 2 like to travel? Another friend asked. Besides the river. Claire laughed, and this time she didn't bother to make it soft. He wanted to celebrate our anniversary in a tent. Can you imagine? Smoke in your hair. Mosquito bites. The table erupted. Someone did a fake shiver. The server hovered, ignored. I cut in. It's not everyone's thing, I said. No shame in liking clean sheets. Melissa leaned on her elbow. But come on, she said, head cocked. Private helicopters are a different league. You get that, right? I get gravity, I said. You know what I mean. She flicked her eyes at Claire's dress, then my boots. There's levels. Claire didn't contradict her. She held the wine list like a flag and made her voice carry. It's complicated, she told them. I'm dating a man who saves people and teaches kids to put on bandages. He's very hands-on. Laughter. It's noble. It's just not a German coup, you know? Hannah's husband, Chris, happened to walk in with co-workers and caught the last line. He lifted a brow at me from across the room. He knew me from late-night calls where we cut a seatbelt free and moved somebody breathing again. Claire, I said quietly, knock it off. It's a joke, she replied louder. Relax. If you can't take a joke, how will you survive a real party? Someone filmed that, too. I saw the lens. Saw my own face in the black glass. Calm, tired of being the punchline. I took out my card. I told the server, put the table on me. He nodded, startled. Claire blinked. What are you doing? Being generous, I said, setting the card on the tray. It's aspirational, right? Ryan, she hissed, don't make a scene. I'm ending one, I said. Finish celebrating. Where are you going? She demanded, voice pitching up. Home, I answered. No, not home. To my office. I'm on shift at dawn. I pushed back my chair. And Claire. What? Don't call me tonight, I said. You're busy with impressions. She turned red. Anger, not embarrassment. You're not worth my time, she snapped, arm flinging toward the wine list like a prop. The table went silent for half a breath. Then someone giggled to fill the gap. Phones hovered higher. She unclipped her hair like she could change the scene that way. I nodded. We agree, I said and left. I drove to my training center, unlocked the roll-up door, and slept on the old leather couch in the back office. At 6, I showered in the tiny stall we kept for long days, and taught 30 warehouse workers how to push hard and breathe into a mask. By noon, I wrote an email, subject line, transition. Body, effective today, separate finances, separate calendars, return of keys within 7 days, access to my accounts removed immediately. I kept it polite. I attached screenshots of the changes. I CC'd myself twice and my accountant once. Then I changed the locks on my storage and swapped the passwords on my business software. Not dramatic. Routine. At 2, Claire showed up at my door with a bag of groceries and a confused smile. "I made your soup," she announced, lifting the bag. "You love this one." "Put it in the fridge," I said. "I'm running a course." She set it down and scanned the room like a scout. "You didn't come home." "Correct. We said we'd talk." "You said that," I replied. "I set rules." I followed mine. She stepped closer, doing soft voice number 2, the one for vendors she needed to pull a miracle. "I was sharp last night. It was stupid. Too much wine. Melissa was performing, and I joined. I'm sorry." "I heard you," I said. "So?" she asked, palms up. "So nothing," I said. "I'm not a stage." She tried for a small laugh. "You're not still mad about the tent, are you?" "I'm not mad about anything," I said. "I'm done pretending we want the same thing." I picked up my clipboard. "Keys, Claire." She dug in her purse, produced one key on a thin ring, and dropped it into my hand. "I need the main one for a few days." "You need to be out by Friday," I said. Her eyes went flat for half a second. "You're serious?" "I'm efficient." She nodded slowly, regrouping, then tried a different tack. "I actually talked to a lawyer last week. Research for a client," she said. "Protecting assets before marriage. It's smart." "Which client?" I asked. "Private," she said too fast. "Got it," I said. I just took the same step. "For myself." She stared like the world had tilted. "Are you threatening me?" "I'm protecting my work," I said. "That's not a threat. It's a boundary." "I'll post something cute," she said, words tumbling now. "Like power couple navigating careers. I'll frame it right. Delete the dumb video bits from last night. No one needs to see that." "Delete what you want," I said. "The internet keeps its own receipts." She hurt laughed. "You're really that proud?" "I'm that done," I said. She left the soup. I ate it with crackers and switched to the next class. My phone buzzed an hour later. "Hannah." "You okay?" she asked. "I am. Claire's telling everyone you're controlling and wouldn't let her order dinner," she added. "Not dramatic, just facts." "She can say anything she wants," I said. "I've got a course at 3. Chris filmed some of it," she said. "He didn't post." "He's not cruel. He's smart," I said. "Tell him thanks." That night, I went to a networking mixer. Not Claire's scene, not mine, but it was pitched for small businesses that actually build things, not picture them. Someone handed me a name tag. I wrote Ryan, practical, and stuck it on Crooked. I shook hands with a construction foreman who needed Saturday training and a school principal who wanted hands-only CPR for teachers before fall. Booked both. I slept at the office again. The next morning, my training post on Respect, no hashtags, no ring light, pulled more comments than the usual. Not viral, just real. Guys in dirty boots and nurses in Crocs said thanks. It looked like nothing, which was the point. Claire, meanwhile, went loud. She recorded herself in soft light talking about a relationship where one partner uses money as leverage and weaponized independence. She didn't use my name. She didn't have to. Her followers wrote long comments with my description sketched in between the lines. She answered them one by one like it was a client consult. A couple wedding pages reposted. Hannah texted, "I'm sorry. She's managing the optics." "Optics are cheap," I replied. "Outcomes aren't." Claire called. I let it go to voicemail. She texted after. "If you want this to go away, we can sit down." I'll delete. I'll post us making soup. People forget fast. A second later. Also, return the spare key. I have inventory deliveries. You gave me a key to your studio for emergencies. I typed back. This is not one. I'll bring it at noon. Please have my papers ready. At noon, I stepped into her studio with my hands empty and her key between my fingers. She had 2 new clients at the table, bright faces, rings on their fingers, eyes soaking up the room. Claire did her smile, then saw me, then assessed the scene in a blink. "Ladies," she said lightly, "my partner is here. He's in emergency services. He's always on call. Please excuse." "Ex-partner," I corrected. I placed the key on the table, not rude, not soft. Here you go. One bride looked at Claire, then at me. Are you okay? She asked into the wrong lane of traffic. We're great, Claire cut in. Creative differences. I smiled. That's accurate, I said. Claire, my documents. She passed an envelope with my name written in pretty script. Professional, she said, as if to convince someone in the room. Always, I said. Also, don't use my face in your content going forward. That's a firm no. She came around the table, voice dropping. I said I'd delete, she whispered. You're making me look bad. You're doing that fine without me, I answered. Her jaw tightened. I can fix this. I'm not a broken vase, I said. I'm a guy with a schedule. I left. Behind me, a fork hit a plate too loudly. New variable. The first public line, spoken flat and clear, within her house. 2 days later, Chris sent me a clip. Not the whole dinner, just the clean piece. Claire laughing at the tent. Claire saying she's embarrassed to date a man who teaches kids and drives a truck instead of some polished toy. Claire stacking the line about status. And me paying the bill and walking out without a word anyone could twist. He texted, other guests filmed too. It's circulating. I watched it once and put my phone down. I went outside and checked the tires on the training trailer, because rubber and air don't lie. When I came back in, my inbox had 4 new messages from companies that wanted staff trained. 2 cited the video. Saw the way you handled yourself, one wrote. We need that kind of calm. Hannah called. It's everywhere, she said. The comments are not on her side. She can handle herself, I said. She can't fix this with glitter, Hannah said. Vendors are DMing me. They don't want to be near that energy. Brides are canceling. She's blaming you in the group chat. I muted it. I didn't ask for any of it, I said. I know, she said. For what it's worth, I'm proud you left. I didn't leave, I said. I moved forward. I put my head down and worked. I signed a contract with a school district that had been ignoring me for a year. I ordered 30 extra mannequins and re-upped my AED demo models. I added 3 instructors. I didn't post a victory lap. I posted class schedules. Claire went into overdrive. She filmed a long cry talk about context. She claimed I'd been cold for months, that I'd resented her success, that I controlled the calendar, the money, the everything. She accused me of ignoring her calls during emergencies for the power of it. Then the second wave hit, the other angles. A woman at the long table had recorded a clean side view. Me paying for everyone, Claire calling me not worth her time, the whole group going quiet, the whole picture landing in one frame. Someone who sets worth by price tags, someone who doesn't. Claire texted me a screenshot of her analytics dipping. Are you happy? She wrote. You ruined my year. Clients are dropping. I didn't post anything, I replied. You started it, she wrote. You stormed out and made me look cruel. I didn't make you say a word, I wrote back. You did that. 10 minutes later, she switched to sweet. Let's fix this. I'll do a couple feature pieces on your training work. Hero stories. I'll tag you. We can spin this. No, I answered. No more spins. I can turn off comments, she offered. We'll make a joint statement. We don't have a joint anything, I replied. Take care. That night she showed up at my office again, hair down, laptop under her arm, wearing the first sweater I ever liked on her. She put a hand on my shoulder and pressed her cheek to mine like we were in a photo. We're better than this, she whispered. I'll plan a trip. Wine country, cabins, clean sheets. We can reset. You love the word we when it gets you a deliverable, I said. She moved back a step and dropped the smile. You're really going to throw this away? For pride. For self-respect, I said. Different item. She inhaled like she was about to argue, and then she didn't. She walked to the shelf and looked at the rows of mannequins and masks. You could have been bigger, she said softly. You could have played bigger with me. I am bigger, I said. I'm building something that has weight. She took the hint and left. The door clicked. I locked it. By the weekend, the video had jumped to local news. They didn't say names. They didn't need to. The narrative had a life of its own. Service workers reposted. A pastor wrote a paragraph about dignity. A nurse posted how many times a guy in boots had held a line on a chaotic day. Small business groups asked me to speak on crisis response, not relationship drama. Meanwhile, Claire's inquiry form sat dry. Vendors ghosted her. 2 brides demanded deposits back for tone. She called one more time. I answered because I am not a ghoster. I'm a closer. Ryan. she started, controlled and calm. I need you to take responsibility. You escalated. You left. You didn't protect our brand. There is no our, I said. We lived together, she said. We built a presence. We had plans with my clients. Your clients, I corrected. My classes. 2 separate lanes. She took a beat. Fine. I'll bring your last few boxes Monday. Be home. I won't be there, I said. My guy Matt will. He'll sign for them. Your firefighter friend? Intimidation. Classy. He's a calm man with a clipboard, I said. You'll survive. Do you really think that video makes you look noble? She asked. People love a short story. They'll move on, and you'll still be a version of what you are. I like what I am, I said. I sleep well. She made a sound that was half scoff, half laugh. You always were impossible to manage. That's the line, I said. Now we're honest. On Monday, Matt texted a photo of 3 labeled boxes in my office. She kept it tidy, he wrote. Didn't talk. He added, Hannah left a note in box 2. I opened box 2 and found a folded paper on top of a framed picture Claire and I had faked for her feed once. Our hands on a registry book. The note said, proud of you. Coffee sometime. No cameras. I smiled and got back to work. 2 weeks after the video, a city department asked me to propose an annual training plan for all public buildings. It was the proposal I'd written twice and never heard back on. This time they called me. We met in a conference room with stale muffins and sanitizer on every table. The deputy director, a woman who had watched her share of people freeze in emergencies, looked me in the eye. I watched you sit through a pylon and not swing back, she said. I want that person teaching my staff. Done, I said. The contract landed the next morning. It paid for another van and 3 part-time instructors. I sent a thank you note to my accountant just for confirming all the separation steps 2 weeks earlier. Timing is talent's boring cousin. It does the heavy lifting. I never posted about Claire. I didn't unfollow. I didn't subtweet. I didn't build a brand on how wrong she was. I just built. Friday afternoon, I swung by our old place to grab a toolbox I'd forgotten under the sink. Claire was there with a clipboard and a tape measure, walking a couple through the living room. She was pivoting, turning the apartment into a rentable photo studio. Smart. She saw me, and for a second, she didn't choose an expression. Then she went with gracious. Hey, she said softly. Can we talk? The couple vanished toward the balcony like smoke. She put the clipboard down and crossed her arms. I didn't want it to go this way. It went more than one way, I said. She looked tired. Not mascara smudged tired, strategic tired. I'll be honest, she said. I did talk to a lawyer. Not about you. About me. About not getting used and then dumped by this industry. I thought if I had control, I'd be safe. You picked the wrong lever, I said. I picked the lever I know, she said. Status opens doors. It's always worked. Until it didn't, I said. She nodded once, resigned. I booked 2 small weddings this week, she said as if I asked. Not big venues. Backyard things. People still get married, I said. They do. She looked at the toolbox at my feet. You always cleaned your stuff up right away. I don't like clutter, I said. She swallowed. If you ever want to. No, I cut in. No rewrites. Her throat moved. I'll stay out of your way. You always had that option, I said. You just like being in the way. She stared at the floor, then back up. You said once you respect people who pick the hard job on purpose. I do. I picked the hard job, she whispered. You picked the loud one, I replied. That's different. I walked past her, picked up the toolbox, and set my spare keys on the counter. She took a half step toward me. Say something nice, she said. It wasn't a plea. It was a reflex. You're good at making a room look like a promise, I said. I'm better at keeping people in it alive. She let out a small breath like she'd been holding it. Goodbye, Ryan. Be well, I said, and meant it. I didn't slam any doors. I got in my truck, headed to the river for an hour before my last class, and let water talk the way people can't. Months moved. My training center doubled. We took over the empty space next door and painted the walls the color of calm. I added a break room so my instructors could sit between classes like human beings and not eat lunch standing behind a stack of mannequins. I signed with 2 more school districts and 1 chain of gyms that wanted their staff trained after a bad incident on a treadmill. I hired a coordinator named Lena who says no with a smile that ends conversations 5 seconds earlier than a yes would. We started a community class every first Saturday. $20 if you can, free if you can't, no one asking questions about either. I moved out of the office couch and into a small house with a wide driveway and a garage that actually fit my tools. I bought a used boat that pulls kids out of water in summer for fun instead of shock. On Sunday mornings, I drive to a diner where they know my order and don't care what I do for optics. I park where I want. The driveway doesn't shake when I roll in because that's my driveway. People ask sometimes about the video, like it was a marketing plan. It wasn't. It was a knife that missed me because I stepped sideways at the right time. You don't need to swing back at every knife. Some you let the thrower watch fall. I see Claire every now and then online when a backyard ceremony pops up. She's switched to intimate experiences and authentic gatherings, the same lines printed in a softer font. Her comments look nice. Engagement numbers sit lower than before. Vendors who know her keep a polite distance. The industry doesn't like smoke that makes them cough. Hannah and Chris come to our Saturday classes and bring donuts no one photographs. Hannah talks shop, and sometimes she just parks on the floor and watches her kid crawl around the mats. She tells me business is steady. She never brings up Claire unless I ask. I don't ask. As for me, there's a woman who started showing up to the Saturday sessions. She's an ER nurse. She stands in the back sometimes, arms crossed, assessing the room with eyes that have seen worse. After class one day, she asked how many compressions per minute I teach, and then told me a different number works better on older patients with brittle ribs. Prove it, I said. She laughed. You're impossible. Manage that, I said. We got coffee without photos. We talk more about ugly realities than pretty setups. She doesn't think helicopter tours are a personality. She likes the river because it doesn't lie. We haven't posted anything together. We won't. If you want a neat moral, here it is. When a person tells you your worth is a stage prop, don't argue. Don't cry. Don't slam doors. Change the locks. Move your gear. Separate your accounts. Write the rules you'll follow, and then follow them. Let public humiliation turn into a one-man PR plan by doing nothing different than what you did yesterday. Work, decency, quiet standards. People with real lives recognize that better than people with cameras. The last words I spoke to Claire were simple and final, the way final is supposed to be. She texted last month, out of nowhere. No hard feelings. I typed back. No feelings at all. Take care. Then I went back to the class in front of me, put both palms over a sternum made of plastic, and showed 30 people how to keep a stranger alive. I didn't do it for optics. I did it because it matters. That's my system. It holds.